there exists a letter between St. Francis and St. Anthony, and St. Francis recognizing the growth of the Franciscan order to the tune of thousands from the initial 12 in his lifetime, recognized as more priests joined the order, that they needed to be well taught and schooled in the truths of the faith. And so he asked St. Anthony to teach theology to the friars so that they, like he, could go about as the gospel invites them and us, proclaiming it to every creature. And we know from our knowledge of the life of St. Anthony that this is what he did. And I sense more than just looking back onto the past, we recognize by your presence here that his life and his witness continue to speak and help us to move in that same direction. And what I'd like to suggest is that one of the things that was truly healing for our order was the teaching of St. Anthony. That one of the first healings that he did was to teach the friars well. So I hope that we can also recognize the healing nature of right faith and openness to the message of the gospel of Jesus Christ that takes flesh in us as we go forward, heeding this same gospel which was preached and continues to be preached to all the faithful, not just those in religious life, although to us as well. So all of us have that same calling, same vocation, and here how we are called to do it is by recognizing more and more that all that we read in the Scriptures, how we receive the grace and the sacraments of the church is leading us to a specific thing or experience of encounter with the person, Jesus Christ. So important for St. Anthony was that growth in his own life, I trust, and as he was trying to help the friars realize that this wasn't just communicating words or even teachings, but a life impacted by the grace of the resurrection of Jesus Christ in a way that formed them and us into being specific people. Those who take the words and make them flesh in us so that others people can see them. For as you know, more importantly than the words oftentimes that we say is the lives we lead. And so I can imagine the friars as they were encountering Anthony, the inspiration that maybe we're feeling even now to try to be like him, to want to enflesh the words of the Scriptures in ways that then we could go forth and make them clearer, the teachings more understandable to those who are most in need. We know all those images and the things that we hear about in St. Anthony and his love for the Christ child, which we see and vision both in this image and here and all over this chapel, to recognize how important it was for him to express that, rooted in the Scriptures. He's known as the evangelical doctor, made that by one of the popes in the last century, and I think in the 1940s, made a doctor of the church because of his commitment to this process of allowing the Word and the sacraments to introduce us more and more to the person of Jesus. So that's our task as well. And I'd love to just read to you briefly here from one of St. Anthony's own sermons. He concludes it really a teaching with prayer. And I just think we can sense then how central Jesus was for him and how he invites us to do the same. So he prayed on the feast day. This was back on the feast of the purification of the Virgin Mary. He concludes this teaching with this prayer. "O sweet Jesus, who is sweeter than you? Your memory is sweeter than honey, a name of sweetness, a name of salvation. What does the name Jesus mean, if not Savior? Good Jesus, therefore, be a Jesus for us. You who are the source of sweetness, that is, of faith, give us hope and charity, that living and dying in it, we may merit to come to you. This we ask with your help and the prayers of your mother, you who are blessed forever and ever. So, Jesus, the center of St. Anthony's life, the motivation and strength and grace of his preaching and healing and teaching, reaching out to us now too as we share with him, fellow baptized Christians, and recognizing that that's the bond that we are united in with him today, and that he invites us now to welcome this gift of being led through these great channels, the scriptures, the sacraments, to this intimate relationships with our sweet Jesus. May he guide us and help us to always be committed to that effort and give it everything like him, everything that we've got.